What's up, everybody? I'm Chase Lee reporting for DallasMovieScreenings.com, and I got another movie to review for you guys, and that would be Truth or Dare. No, I'm not asking you to play. That is the title of the movie. I'm sorry if I confused you. So anyways, this is the newest film that is pumped out by Blumhouse Productions, who pumps out about 5 movies a week. No hate on them, just a slight joke. I adore Blumhouse Productions. Some of the stuff they produce and or distribute is bad, but you know what? I give them the credit for just throwing out whatever might stick to the public, like a Get Out or like a Whiplash and be Oscar nominated, or pump out something like a Ouija and regret everything that you do in life. So anyways, Truth or Dare is the newest one. And I saw the trailer to it, and I was like, this looks dumb, but maybe it could be like that fun dumb where like when you see with an audience and you get into it and the energy is there and you fully immerse yourself into the stupidity, you could have some fun with it. I was hoping for that. So I saw it, and this might be one of the worst things they've ever put their name on. And I've seen all the Paranormal Activity movies, I've seen all the Insidious movies, I've seen all the Purge movies, and I'm a fan of most of those movies, but I can even tell you what some of the weak ones are in those franchises. This one is pretty bad. So I'm going to do the best I can to explain without spoiling anything. So let's get real and break this down. Let's start with some of the positives, because there are slightly few minuscule little speck of positives floating around in this negative dust bowl. So first positive, Lucy Hale is the quote-unquote main character, and I'll get to that in just a second. She gives it her all. She gives 110% in her performance. I may not agree with everything that she said or did as a character, but her performance as an actress was good. And I was kind of surprised because I don't think I've seen anything with her in it. So I was impressed, given the fact that the rest of the group, especially Tyler Posey was in this. It's like typical MTV type of, young model casting. And yes, Lucy Hale kind of fits that mold, but she gave a little bit more to her performance, even though I didn't agree with everything, to where I can acknowledge that is a positive. Second positive is that it's a competent movie. It's competently shot, competently directed. Some of the production design is cool, I guess. Some of the locations are cool. I mean, it's a competent movie. Don't get me wrong, but that's where I draw the line. And I guess the last thing is that, you know how in the trailer, like, the demons would possess the bodies or whatever, and they would do that weirdo, like, Joker smile? At first, it was hilarious. In some other parts in the movie, it was still hilarious. But as it went on, it was like one of those things that, like, if you see a picture on the internet, it's like, it's really funny, but you keep looking at it, like, it becomes, like, creepy and unsettling. So I will admit that the smiling thing was getting a little bit more unsettling as the movie progressed, but that didn't really happen until like an hour in, so that doesn't really matter. All right, negatives. Everything else. All right, so I got to break this into categories and subcategories because it's going to get a little dicey here right now. I'm gonna tear this movie apart. All right. So start with the writing. So let's talk about the dialogue, the story, and the characters that make up this whole movie. The dialogue itself is horrendous. There are some lines of dialogue that will literally make you shudder, not because of the horror and terror and suspense of the film, but more of line delivery and lines that feel like a first draft, and almost like a 5-year-old was creating dialogue to what they think a college kid sounds like. There's one character in particular, you know what I'm talking about. Well, actually a couple, but there's one that really pokes out with its terrible dialogue. But dialogue is not least of my worries. The story itself, the concept of using Truth or Dare as like, a center point for your demonic possessions and stuff, that's cool, I guess, but that can only really go so far because everything surrounding the whole Truth or Dare game, pretty generic possession demon stuff that was like whatever. That doesn't really bother me. The ending of the movie, however, the way the movie ends is awful, because this goes into my next point. The characters themselves are some of the worst group of characters I've ever seen in a horror film. besides maybe one of them, everyone else is extremely unlikable. Now, you might confuse that, and you might watch the movie and go, well, Chase, they have flaws. They want you to sympathize with the characters. The problem is their flaws make them look like D-bags. So when stuff is hitting the fan, when crap is hitting the fan, right? And they're in danger, or like when one of them dies, you don't feel anything. You don't feel any type of emotional grasp on who is dying or what. They're literally just cannon fodder for this demon. And you don't care because they are awful characters. Some of them do some really despicable things. And you're like, I'm supposed to follow these people. So with that said, the ending of the film, when you already follow these characters and their awfulness for almost 100 minutes, when the ending of the movie happens, you're almost in shock that the characters would sink to a new low. It was kind of outstanding. I did the Trump thing. Outstanding. The way that the movie ended, I was astonished. I was like, these characters got worse, even to the final frame of the movie. And when the movie happened, I was like, what was the point of all that? What was the point? Even if it was a cheesy, goofy, dumb movie that you could enjoy, I'd be like, the ending was whatever. But I hated watching the movie from start to finish, and then when the movie ended, it was almost like an F.U. to the audience, a big old middle finger. And I was like, cool, I'm going to give you one back. Whew! Go back to characters. I also noticed that the movie would focus on the side characters more and their problems rather than the quote-unquote main character. Lucy Hale is projected as the main character, but the movie focuses a lot on the side characters. One in particular, her friend. She is the blonde in the movie, so you'll know who I'm talking about when you see it. So, she has a lot of baggage in her life. Okay. So, she reveals a couple things about her past. Okay, that's fine. But then it keeps going back to her revealing more and more and more. One of which is involving her friend, Lucy Hale, and it's a despicable thing that she does. It's very childish, and it was very stupid. And so I'm like, why are we focusing on this chick? I don't understand. Like, this just shows you how confusing the movie was because it didn't know what it wanted to be. It was totally confusing. Because all these, like, deep character moments that you would focus on the main characters, right? They were serious stuff. It was dark, mature subject matter. And I was like, wait a minute. You're going to present all this serious stuff with the backdrop of Truth or Dare being played by a demon. This is not going to work. Because your characters are already unlikable. And so when you try to redeem themselves to the audience with this emotional stuff, it doesn't work. It feels like two separate movies. So anyways, focusing on the side characters and really not knowing where to go was like the whole like summary of the movie. Just it did not know what to do. So I guess that's it with the characters. I pretty much have said my piece. They are unlikable, and the end of the movie just makes them worse. And like I said, some of the dark stuff is just it makes you want to feel for these people, and it just doesn't. So let's talk about the directing. There is absolutely no visual style or flair to this. It's kind of just basic, generic filmmaking. The director, Jeff Wadlow, directed Kick-Ass 2. And I actually thought there was more style in that than in this one, because that was the previous thing I have seen. So I think with all the problems I have with the writing, this is probably the biggest issue, is the tonal clashing. Because one, you have Truth or Dare. This whole game being played by a demon. It looks and sounds goofy. But then you have these characters who have such dark pasts. and such deep problems that you're trying to, give attention to in this goofy premise horror film. And it doesn't work because you want us to feel for these people, but you don't earn that right because they're unlikable. The whole group, besides maybe one of them, is a bunch of D-bags, and you want us to feel for them while also having this goofy premise on top of it. And like I said, when they presented themselves with this dark stuff, it doesn't work because when these characters start dying and start getting picked off, we just move on. No one really ever mourns. There's some slight mourning, but we just move on. And it's that's your problem right there, is that you're trying to bring up all this serious stuff amongst this movie, but you're still carrying on with the silly premise, and it doesn't work at all. And so I really just think if they went full goofy with it, full, just kind of silly with the premise, I would have forgiven it a little bit, because at least it knew what it wanted to be. Or go full serious. Change it to not Truth or Dare, but just something else, and use internal problems that humans go through as the forefront issue of the film, and have the horror issue in the backdrop. Either way, I would have been fine with it. I may have not liked the movie, but I would have been fine with the direction and the choices that they went with. But the problem is they try to do both, and it doesn't work. And the last negative is that the acting, besides Lucy Hale, and even the blonde girl is fine in some scenes, but everyone else is it's bad. The acting is they are trying too hard. And it's pretty amazing to witness, because you're calm down. You're in a movie called Truth or Dare. So that's about it. Well, and I guess one last thing, the editing can be a little sluggish at some parts while all the action's going on, and just it seems like these abrupt interruptions that just it doesn't flow well with the movie at all. Case in point, when the way the movie starts, it opens up with the scene where someone is being possessed and they do a heinous act, and then it just cuts to the title just randomly. And then it goes to the main group that we're focusing on, and I was like, that was really jarring. That was a terrible way to open up your movie and a terrible edit. But then again, it had a terrible ending, so I guess we're going to have to bookend it with something. Bookend it with the same style of beginning and ending. I did not like this movie one bit. I wouldn't recommend this as a horror fan. I wouldn't recommend this to go laugh at. I wouldn't recommend this if you want to go see something this weekend. There's other horror movies playing in theaters. You know which one, but I'm not going to mention it because it's not from the same studio, and that would be irresponsible of me. But Truth or Dare is quite bad. I'm going to give it a D, a straight D. I don't care about the pluses or minuses on this one, but it's a competent film. Just it makes a lot of bad decisions and choices from the higher-ups and the creative team behind the camera, and it just comes out as a mess. So did you see Truth or Dare from Blumhouse, and what did you think of it? Comment that place on my face and let me know. Please tell me that I'm wrong. Please tell me. I love it when people disagree with me in the comments. If you like this movie, please tell me why I am wrong. Maybe I missed something. Maybe I was in a bad mood. I had no clue, but from what I saw, I just did not like it all. So please let me know down below if you've seen Truth or Dare. So that will do it for this review, guys. I'm Chase Lee reporting for DallasMovieScreenings.com. And tune in next time for whatever I review next. I will see you guys later.